Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hope your day went well. Yeah, it's a late night broadcast. I was like almost thinking that having gone through a long day, just for me to come in and just just have some fun and just go through what has happened during the day and what happened earlier this morning. A lot of news. It's also a slow news day, which is, hopefully good. At times they say no news is good news, but I'm going to start with a good one, actually. The good news is that Kebbi State, has received a bit of good news after the sadness that dawned on that state following the kidnap of students. So this is Tinubu speaking. All the schoolgirls, all the 25 schoolgirls, that was the number that we were given, abducted in Kebbi State, have been safely rescued. I must commend our security forces for their swift response and the parent and community for their strength during this period. In response to the recent kidnapping and act of terrorism, I have ordered a full security cordon over the forest in Kwara. Somebody actually said that this should not have been revealed because that's tactical and strategic in nature, rather. That you shouldn't reveal your plan to the enemy. But again, I guess it's more of a it's just in a bid to reduce the tension that is building in that area. The Air Force is to maintain continuous surveillance over the most remote areas, synchronizing operations with ground units to effectively identify, isolate, and disrupt and neutralize all hostile elements. This directive also extends to the Kebbi and Niger axis. Communities are encouraged to report any unusual movements to support ongoing operations as we move decisively to secure every affected area. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that's what we've got from the president as of this morning. You have shown great leadership in the face of tribulation, all the sensible youth. Okay, Tinubu, you promised security. If you had done the job effectively, this abduction and killing won't happen in the first place. Yeah, I agree. Decisive decision is actually important. Okay? Because what happens is that when there is that slowness to make decision, and when you leave things to fate, casualty becomes inevitable. Okay? So we can see that people are kind of, you have contrary opinion. Your government has been outrun by terrorists. Now you can see the supporters of APC coming to say how good he is. You've shown great leadership. Another one, Mr. President, no one can cause who God has blessed. Along show you will succeed. Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Your government has been outrun by terrorists. That's someone dissenting on that. How many arrests were made? How many casualties from the enemy's camp? This is highly commendable. So, again, on easy lies the head that wears the crown. And I agree with that. So we salute the military, for getting these people back. At the same time, this needs to stop. This can be happening on a daily basis. With all these things that, he has said, we'll see what happens. There was an interview that I saw with respect to some of those people kidnapped. And let me see if I can.
Said
no ransom was paid for the release. Let me see what this
has. No ransom payment was made. So you want to guess that it wasn't a negotiation. It could.
So what happened? We need details on what really happened and how people got, rescued.
Be made by military force. It could be by combat. But then, of course, if no ransom payment was made, I'm not sure the girls were just handed over to the
on a platter,
to the Kebbi State government,
okay.
On a cheap. So I'm pretty sure it had something to do with combat to ensure their release. And the governor equally.
Are you sure? You're pretty sure. Are you sure that it had to do with combat? Are you sure? Because they were able to rescue all of the 25. You say you can confirm if something was given. So again, I don't know what happened. Again, some of these things are kept secret. For whatever reason, they didn't fit. But we don't know. We don't know how. Well, they were rescued. They were not released. So was it really combat? Are you sure? How many casualties did the kidnappers suffer or the Nigerian army suffered? Now we have all the students back, but we need to be sure what happened.
Stated that they are in good health condition, they are in stable condition, and the official handover of the girls will take place tomorrow at the same venue. The parents of the girls are going to be moving from Magade, the location where these girls were abducted. They're going to be moving to the state capital tomorrow for the has scored a very, very huge point, and the federal government has also scored a very huge point because many people have been following pretty keenly the developments in Kebbi State. And
yeah, federal government has scored a good point because they didn't do their job, and now they are doing what they should have done in the first place to prevent that kidnapping. So again, I don't know if they've done a good job. Now, it's not as if at times you don't have issues like that. Okay, even in the most sophisticated nations, there are issues that are happening, do you understand, all the time. But in this instance, you've got so much issue happening in quick succession. Talking about issues happening all around the world, no one is safe. This is what happened. Someone literally, set another passenger ablaze in a train in the United States. This is what Trump has to say.
All the crime that took place last night, the night before, the woman with the burning, they burned the woman. To be talking about that now, they burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times.
How insane. The problem is this: when you condone recklessness, lawlessness, when you don't do your job, and the state in question or the city in question is Chicago, they've been so lenient when it comes to crime. They have repeat offenders released to the street, and then something happened. Just in New York, someone also was unalived in a train. When you have this happening in quick succession and you have this softness towards people who commit crime, criminals, this is what you get.
72 times, think of that. And they'll let him out again. The liberal judges will let him out again. But we're ready to go. We've been moving toward Chicago. We have a governor that thinks it's wonderful that only like 7 people were killed this week. But we are moving toward doing it, and we're going to, if crime gets, it's horrible what's happening in Chicago. We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob.
Wow.
He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago, we'll do the same thing as we did in D.C., the same thing as we did everywhere we've gone.
Exactly. And you know what happened in D.C.? D.C. was becoming a mess. And Trump moved his guys in and cleaned up the place in just a few days. That even the Democrat mayor that was against Trump moving in had to come out to say thank you. This is what happens when you allow those who break laws to roam around your street. When you allow bandits, when you allow criminals to have free stuff. This is what builds terrorism.
So all the crime that took place.
This is the woman, Bethany McGee, 26, identified as what Chicago woman set on fire on CTA train by serial thug with 72 prior arrests. How do you arrest someone 72 times? Let's even forget about the crime for now. What about the cost involved at each arrest? Now talk about the crime and the risk to life. This is quite insane. I grew up in the 50s. My mom, aunt, and I used to walk on Friday night for blocks or under overpasses to get to church for confessions. We were never concerned for our safety. We were never threatened. We were never approached unless you call good evening being approached. Anyone know how she's doing? Oh, yeah, donate to support recovery. Okay, so she's still alive, I believe. Let me see. Okay, so they've raised some money on this. Was riding a CTA train and she was attacked. She's currently hospitalized with severe burns she sustained, and she's receiving treatment under the excellent care of our medical team. So now she's actually in the hospital. Thank God. But this is life changing. This is life altering. This is life altering. So that's that about that. I'm gonna move on. So back to what we were discussing before with respect to the abduction, and so there was a news today that Tinubu banned open grazing, but it happened to be that it was not the full truth. On November 25, 2025, the federal government of Nigeria under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made headlines with statements on open grazing during the inaugural National Council on Livestock Development in Yola, Adamawa State. Okay, however, there's confusion and conflicting reports. Initial announcements suggested a nationwide ban, but the government quickly clarified it as a push for transition rather than an outright prohibition. Again, I don't understand why we cannot just ban open grazing. It's not your land. To the herdsmen and all that, it's not your land. You don't have a right to move your stuff around places where people are conducting their day-to-day business. What was initially said? Let me see if I can get that. Okay, so about that, just seeing if I can actually get an actual video of the minister trying to work on that, but I don't have anything right now, so I'm just gonna move on. What was initially said? Minister of Livestock Development declared open grazing abolished and a capital offense, aligning with Tinubu's livestock innovation agenda to curb farmer and herder conflict, improve security, and boost the sector as a revenue hub. Now, this was what he said. Now, later on today, okay, the ministry debunked the report of a nationwide ban. Why can't we have a nationwide ban? Stating no such policy was announced. Instead, it's a gradual, well-structured transition from open grazing to ranching, with open grazing deemed unsustainable but not criminalized outright. Again, that's just what he has to say. So we'll see what happens. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's better if you have a total ban. A total ban. But that's that about that. There is a serious, I would say, confrontation between this guy, Olamide, and Portable. Portable is a known musician. Olamide is also a known musician. Now, look at this. Never trust the loyalty of a poor man. One would have thought that Portable will appreciate Olamide for the rest of his life. The major hit that Portable did was this Zazu that made him gave him a global recognition. But now he's coming out to say something different. saying that it was actually the one that made Olamide. This was the first time they met. Look at that.
Everybody will feel
My years, you said even more, but the better said he follow me.
This is him crying that he met, what's it called? Olamide. And then they did the Eat Together that was sponsored and pushed. And now it's gotten to the point where he's saying that, you know what? That he was the one that made Olamide. I mean, I don't know how that works. Look at that.
Normal. Every baba itaku in industry. Every let me wale oni mo sawa sogo. Láti sogo mo lọ Canada, mo lọ America. Mo lọ London. I tour everywhere. I got it. Ó yá na ewe ni je fa lọ́wọ́ sókè o. Kò gbé yín tabaye mo. Ẹ gbé débẹ̀ ó já yín kulẹ̀. Kò sọ thank you. Olamide bado. Tó bá jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ make a sign deal with you, I go sign. Ẹ tẹ̀lé nu. Egba producer P-Crime, my producer. Just go produce it for me, ma. We no follow. Normal. Every baba itaku.
So that's it. And it's been trending for a while today. Like, you know what? It's trending because the rapper is the subject of mockery and hilarity following a series of verbal attacks he launched at rapper and record producer Olamide. The current sources of portables emanate from claims that Olamide snubbed him by failing to extend him an invitation to his recently held concert in London. So Olamide is in London right now, performing, I believe. And then that's it. So he's not happy, okay? Because of what happened. And also there's been a lot of celebrity news, since the beginning of the week, Wizkid and all of those. So let me see. This is the main video. So he's saying he gave Olamide recognition.
Olamide, you go to show himself for TV. First fuck when you do be that. Go do a TV leg back when you do. Ola show ara no TV.
Why? Why now?
And
you're gonna know.
Because they forget you. That's to make them remember you.
Yes,
internationally.
Now. Yes, you know.
Why you fucking telling me, bro?
Yes, now. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about. And now, when
they forget you, Zazu Cross make international people remember you.
Yes.
Zazu make Olamide internationally.
Can you imagine that? What delusion. That's why they say that never trust the loyalty of a poor man. So he is claiming that he made Olamide global. Okay.
Yes. Oh, do now.
What?
The video show for me fast.
So he's saying he made Olamide. Olamide is a Nigerian, one of the top Nigerian stars. You understand? Now saying that even Davido and Davido are pals. That why didn't Olamide call him to the London show?
Davido won't give me fast. Davido won't help me.
Yes,
Davido tell me I'm the best. I'm not the rest.
Yes,
in the whole world.
Yes,
Davido tell me.
Yes, now. Yes, now. Yes, now.
Davido love me.
Yes, now.
Davido is proud of me.
Yes, now. Yes, now. Yes, now. About their fucking life.
About your fucking life, bro.
Yes, now. And now.
This guy is mad. I mean, this is what we're dealing with in Nigeria.
Oh, that's no hello la fi pa ko pa 1.2 PTC. Lóṣù ẹ ṣe eré ní owó òyìnbó. Na make me this. Ó yá wá jẹgbẹ́ débẹ̀. Mo kọrin lójoojúmọ́. Àwọn ọlọ́pàá, àwọn government, wọ́n ní kí n máa kọ wà lámọ̀. Nígbà kí n máa kọrin. The girl has the talent. Make her kí n máa kọrin. I can collect Grammy. I can be Nigeria hero.
Yes.
Now I'm singing. Wọ́n ní mo ti ń kọrin jù. Wọ́n ní mo drop orin lójoojúmọ́. Ṣé olóyìn burúkú làwọn èèyàn ni?
They are fucking.
I don't even know this other guy that is.
Kí la tún wá fẹ́ ṣe ta fẹ́ fi táyé lọ́rùn?
That's why they say don't do drugs, right?
Ó fa wàhálà mọ̀. Mo kọrin ẹni yẹn. Wàhálà lẹ tún fẹ́. Ó yá o. Ẹ máa rí wàhálà lọ́sẹ̀ yìí o.
Yes. Wàhálà
ẹ lè máa
ọlọ́mọ
tẹ́wọ́ fún wàhálà.
ọmọ
Ẹ
àrí
máa
wàhálà.
tẹ́wọ́.
Quite unfortunate. You regret not signing me to YBNL. Portable tells Olamide. Okay? Olamide watched the video. So now Olamide watched that video that we just saw, disrespecting him, and on Today Paris live stream. And then Today Paris said this. Let's look at this.
Ṣé tọmọ yẹn sọ ni ẹ̀hún yàrá yìí? Ìyẹn ni John's lọ.
So I guess this is Olamide, right?
Ìyẹn ni ayé ti bàjẹ́.
Hi, welcome to the show. What even a crazy man before? I mean, that guy is just a piece of work. I don't even know, right?
Ìyẹn ò ní kíní ìyẹn ayé ti bàjẹ́ ti pẹ́.
So this guy is saying his life is spoiled since. Okay. Okay, so that's that about that. You know, for real, that's just it. Nothing much with respect to that. There's also the whole talk about Whiskey and Banky W, who made him, who didn't make him, blah blah blah. When he was leaving Banky W's label, he didn't really have that much, blah blah blah. And you know, the whole thing, the whole story, just seems to be quite interesting, right? And but one thing people fail to understand is that at the end of the day, right, the opportunity that he had, okay, was kind of great because he was put on the map, and that was it. They know they regret many things. They know they regret many things now. Now, wow, I mean that's just the reality with respect to showbiz in Nigeria. And that's that. Let me see if I can. I think I do have some stuff that I bookmarked here. I think this was in reference to Whiskey. So people are like arguing that Whiskey was not really that this guy and Whiskey, that this guy made Whiskey, or Whiskey was big on his own and all that. But I think there's a nuance to that from Banky W's story.
I found him working. Before he even started working with me, he had already recorded a chorus for MI. In fact, the very first day that I saw Wiz in person, he was Kel's hype man. We were all at a show, myself, MI, LD, Kel, and Wiz was faithfully serving as Kel's hype man. Wiz was essentially Kel's backup singer. And even when Wiz started working with me, he was my hype man, my backup singer, maybe for a year and a half. Now look at it today. Wiz has probably done more, not probably, Wiz has done more in the music business than any one of us, than me, than MI, than Kel, than LD, all of us who were at that show when I first saw him in person for the first time. But how did he get there? He started by serving. I didn't find Wiz.
So again, yeah, that's it. Started by serving, and yeah, Whiskey is big today. Back in Osun State, this is Aragbeshola, this guy who was made by Tinubu himself, okay, served under Tinubu in Lagos State, is now back and then trying to also kind of bite the hands that fed him. Again, I mean, that's life, talking about people dissing those that have made them. And this is him in Osun State. You see, this just tells you the reality that we're facing. The guy who is a politician, okay, who has had access to public wealth and all that, look at what he's driving and look at every other person surrounding him. Look at every other person surrounding him. What has he done? What did he do to Osun State? What did he contribute to Osun State? Those are the questions. If the politicians are the ones that are most wealthy and the nation is suffering, then what does that tell you about that politician? I don't even know who is actually waving to him. It's just quite unfortunate that that's what we've got. There's this video trending, and which doesn't even make sense. So look at it. Let's look at this. Sorry.
ànábì kú ni màálù wa. Níjọba bá wí sí létí ọ̀dà nǹkan máa ń jọ náà.
I mean, I don't even understand some of these teachings, as it were. The Nigerian military shows off the military exercise they do to combat banditry. Okay, let me see. This looks...
Exactly.
Let's go there.
Too slow.
Again, I mean, kudos to the Nigerian military. I mean, you need to have some good mind for you to even join the Nigerian military as of today. One of the problems they're facing is recruitment. People are no longer joining as they should, and it's just what it is. Now, we've actually, spoken about this ban on open grazing. They've said that it's not actually immediate. They're still working on how to create a sustainable plan to ensure that there is no more open grazing. I guess it's going to be a phased implementation. We'll see what happens after that. Okay, let me see this. Portable, you still do many great things with Olamide. Why do you chase clout up and down with Bado's name? Today Perry claps back. I'm not going to listen to this, but it is what it is. Yeah. Okay, going back to my bookmark. Let me see. Yeah, I've gone through what happened. Nigerian breaking open grazing is now considered a capital offense. That's not true. We already went through that. The ministry have come out to actually say no, that's not what happened. Yeah, it is what it is. But the good news is that the Kebbi students that were actually kidnapped have been released. Okay, just finished addressing a major issue on the For the Record podcast, the rise of deep fake videos and false content being pushed to destabilize our country. The level of sophistication is alarming. Let me look at this.
The enemy of the state, elements that don't have the unity and security of Nigeria, are busy on social media. Sometimes they provide themselves as willing tools in the hands of foreign interests, verifying information on social media before you act upon it. So many contents that are pushed out at this time are not genuine on the face value. Your voice can be cloned with your picture or your video, and everything that is projected might seem as if it is true, but it is not true. Patriotic citizens are people who place the national security and national interest over and above parochial interests. Whenever content is sent to you to make a comment, try to subject it to know whether, first of all, the source, and two, whether it has been verified before you act upon it.
It's really a big problem, to be honest with you. Really a big problem that we face with respect to AI and deepfake. There's been, even me, because I try to react to stuff as it happens. I go online and there's been times when you see some videos. That's what I try as much as possible to go through some of the comments, even at times to get more details from the AI supported tools on X, just to have an idea of what is happening. And it's really it's getting to a point where it's difficult for you to tell deep fake and what's deep fake and what is real. But yeah, it is what it is.
Hello everyone, I'm delighted to come your way. This is Daniel Boal. Also like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content on wide range of issues that affect your day-to-day life. Today I want to talk about something that is very important, especially at this time in Nigeria. You must have in the last few weeks or months come across a situation where people have had to report that something was published on social media, either in form of a picture or video that created scare. Later you found out that it was actually fake news or something not related.
Oh, what's this? Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening to X.
The enemy of the state, social media, sometimes they provide themselves
okay now
in the hands of foreign interests to use the manipulation of the algorithm and create a vitriol, hate,
Hi, did you watching live from Ghana? Welcome to the show. Thanks.
And a particular agenda on social media in order to deepen the crisis in the country. You are aware that Nigeria recently was designated as a country of particular concern. And then more than that, they went on.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. I don't know what's happening to X this morning. Let me just keep.
What we're talking about today is something that is going to cause a lot of trouble. Everybody, if you.
Oh, this is now frustrating. Okay, I'm gonna move to YouTube. I think X seems to be having so much challenges right now. I hope that this doesn't, just spill over to YouTube. Let me talk to what is happening with respect to the new stuff between ADC. As we all know, Atiku Abubakar became officially a member of ADC yesterday, and there's been a lot of back and forth between Atiku and Oshiomhole.
These are the top 5 stories on TV Platinum for November the 25th. Security challenges. Representatives was convened to address recent violent incidents targeting vulnerable communities. Tajuddin stressed that the House's suspension of other legislative matters to focus on security that emerged from it. The plaintiffs argue that the Ibadan Convention ignored key court rulings, including decisions in cases involving Austin Wachuku, Sule Lamido, and Wike, affecting the required 21-day notice and should not have proceeded. They also claimed new officers were elected and Wike-aligned members suspended or expelled despite pending court orders. The suit asked the court to direct INEC, the police, and the DSS to enforce the earlier rulings by any recognition of the Ibadan Convention and clarify whether any authority can legally validate the event while the matters remain pending. On number 4, the camp of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has fired back at Senator Adams Oshiomhole, accusing the former APC national chairman of using distractions to cover up what they described as the party's failures. Oshiomhole had earlier labeled Atiku a defection expert after officially joining
the
African Democratic Congress, leaving the People's Democratic.
This is actually what I want to add.
A departed mother of a Nigerian become evidence that he has no empathy. Go into ridiculous argument about empathy and no lack of empathy. How does the fact that the president attend a church service of a departed mother of a Nigerian become evidence that he has no empathy for people who are killed? I have sympathy for Atiku for this because he has allowed himself to be consumed.
So this is it. Oshiomhole fires back. Atiku can't fix Nigeria if he couldn't fix PDP. We know, yeah, right? He left PDP after the whole problems, and he was losing grip on that party. He decided to step away and just get out of the old PDP. Now he moved to ADC. He became a member of ADC yesterday. It's obvious that he is running for the presidency come 2027. So now we can confirm Tinubu is definitely going to be on the ballot as an incumbent. You're going to have Atiku also on the ballot. Now we'll see what happens. It trended yesterday, having joined, the party, and today also he celebrated his 79th birthday. This guy is 79 years old, and he still wants to lead the country. I don't know how effective it's going to be if it's sworn in, because now you're going to have, another 2 years, to his age. So it's going to be 81. And he's still running for office. So that means by the time he's done with his presidency, if he wins, because I don't think he's going to win, by the time he's done with his presidency, the first time if he wins, is going to be 85, thereabout. And then possibly wants to push for a second term, and then it's going to be 89, close to 90. That's where we are. Peter Obi came out to say special wishes to an elder statesman, a very dear elder brother, boss, and elder statesman, your Excellency Atiku, and the Waziri and the Waziri of Anambra. I join your numerous admirers in wishing you the very best on your 79th birthday. It takes a remarkable kind of fortitude to remain active in public life. No, he should actually retire. At this age, he's benefited so much. He's been one of the top bosses in the port authority. Secondly, he's been the vice president for 8 years. What else? What else does he want? You know, but I wish him well, okay, as he celebrates. I wish him well as he celebrates. Bandit stocks in Kebbi, Kwara, and Niger State. APC cancelled Taraba program. Tinubu cancelled his SA trip. Atiku celebrated by joining ADC. Tinubu rescued Kwara victims 100%. Tinubu rescued Kebbi victims 100%. Tinubu will rescue Niger victims 100%. Whenever Nigeria enemies strike Nigeria, there will always be a jagaban. Okay, this is more of what will I say? More of an APC apologist, talking. Okay, so that's that about that. There was this video from Shey Gumi saying that no foreign intervention. Okay, no foreign intervention.
And why do you always decide it has to be kinetic? Let me give you an example. Now, this Kanu that was imprisoned for terrorism, for agitating that our soldiers should be killed. If the same Kanu now will show remorse and also call for peace, honestly, I will be in the forefront in calling for his pardoning and amnesty for him.
No, but you said that if he's released, the first thing he's going to do is to bring peace to the Southeast. You already said that. I mean, while he was being in trial, and he even said that most of the atrocities now, I cannot verify that is happening, that is not, is not, that you can't trace it to him. Now, I'll put some caution there because, again, most of these people doing whatever atrocity they are doing in the Southeast have pledged allegiance to IPOB and the ESN group.
Look, Shagari, our president, we are from the same, actually, town, or in fact, related with Shagari. He gave amnesty to Ojukwu. Look at Omar Eradua. He gave amnesty to the military, the Niger Delta militants who have also committed acts of terrorism. So this is how we are. We are always looking for a way out. We have lost leaders. We have lost Sardona. We have lost Mutala. And we are still asking for peace, for peace, for peace. If perchance any Muslim has in the past killed one single Nigerian leader who is not a Muslim, it will have been in the air every day. We will not forget about that. But we are people who forgive. So I want that.
What is it talking about? What is it talking about? Again, you cannot at any point in time negotiate with terrorists. It doesn't work that way.
To go into people's head. I'm advocating for Nigeria the best way out.
All right.
We this is our interest. And we are victims of these victims.
Shegumi.
We had relatives in the army that were killed. Yes. We have relatives that were kidnapped. Even now, as I'm talking in Gumi local government, there is an attack by bandits there. Because the Zamfara has refused to come into any agreement with them. But the Kaduna example, this is what I want people to understand. Without necessarily succumbing to their threat, you can develop peace. Our message is peace. So I am so surprised when Nigerians are saying they want to. Fighting is something you cannot predict its end. You can start it, but you cannot predict its end.
Wow.
So I want to preserve Nigerian unity. I don't want foreign intervention, and I don't want tribes to be fighting. Then also we don't want religion, the fire of religion to be ignited in Nigeria, because if it's ignited, who can quench it?
Okay, so again, what this guy is not telling us is what happens to those, okay? What happens to those that have lost their, their lives to these bandits? There's no way you can talk about negotiation when people are losing their lives. They're losing their precious life. I want to go back to what's happening in the United States. because I said, before that there's been a change in the stance of the Western countries towards immigration, and places where we had, the indigenes or the citizens welcoming foreigners, there's been a kind of an ash tone. And that is what is really happening now. Now, first, before I play this, President Trump terminates protection for Somali Minnesotans. So they left Somalia for a temporary protection status in the United States, but now that has been terminated.
Good evening. Breaking tonight, President Donald Trump posting on Truth Social that he will terminate the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. In his post, he says the reason is, quote, Minnesota, under Governor Walz, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as the President of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status, TPS program, for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, President DJT, end quote. Now, we have reached out to Governor Tim Walz for a comment, but have not heard back tonight. Somalia's protective status currently runs through March 2026. Now, tonight, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar responding to Trump's post on Twitter, saying, I am a citizen and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate.
Okay.
We are here to stay. Also breaking tonight, U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene says she will be resigning from Congress. The Georgia representative says she will step down from her seat in the House in January.
What a talking terrorists and enabler, you cannot compare flying terrorists to Niger Delta freedom fighter. Yeah, you're right.
It comes after a very public fallout with President Trump. Greene posted a lengthy statement and video on social media explaining her decision to resign. A special election will have to be held to find her replacement.
Then why do you always decide it has to be kinetic?
About this.
Let me give you an example.
I'm going to listen to this guy. You don't realize what Trump just did. So there's been a lot of debate about what's been happening in Minnesotans by the Somali refugees or Somalians that were given temporary protective status. There's been a lot of money missing. There's been a lot of fraud that has been alleged that these people actually take and then they send back to Somalia. Now, let me see what Trump just did. Most people don't realize to Ilhan Omar. Let's talk.
Moments in politics when something happens. And
so this is Victor Davis Anson.
Most people only catch the headline. What just happened in Minnesota is one of those moments. Because while many Americans saw a headline about Trump ending a program for Somali immigrants, very few understood why he did it, how it connects to Ilhan Omar's district, and what kind of investigation triggered it behind the scenes. This isn't a small administrative adjustment. This is a decisive move aimed at dismantling a network that federal investigators say has been draining taxpayer funds, rerouting money overseas, and destabilizing an entire region of the state. Trump just shut down a program affecting hundreds of people tied to a fraud network with somewhere between 250 and 300 million. And somehow all of it circles back to Minneapolis and a political figure whose district is now under more scrutiny than at any time in recent memory. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, why so few outlets are explaining the real reason behind Trump's decision, and why this could reshape the political future of Ilhan Omar and Minnesota as a whole. And I want to do this in a way that makes sense, because this story matters to every American who pays taxes, who trusts their government to manage programs honestly, and who wonders what happens when those systems break down. So let's start at the beginning. What actually triggered all of this? What made the President of the United States look at one state, one community, and say enough? Trump announced he was terminating something called temporary protected status for Somali immigrants living in Minnesota effective immediately. Now, if you're not familiar with TPS, it's essentially a legal shield the government grants to people from countries facing disaster or conflict. It allows them to stay in America temporarily without fear of deportation. It's meant to be compassionate, humane, a safety net for people fleeing genuine danger. But here's where things took a hard turn. Trump cited large-scale welfare fraud, money laundering, and the discovery that millions of taxpayer dollars had been funneled into overseas networks, some even reaching extremist groups, according to federal reports. He wasn't just ending a program, he was responding to something much bigger, much darker, that had been unfolding for years. Now, before we dive into the political fallout, we need to understand.
Okay, just to put some context to, all this, like is mentioning frauds and all that. So I did ask, okay, what are the fraud schemes? What are the schemes that have been, detected or through investigation with respect to Minnesota? So autism services, fake diagnosis, and billing for unnecessary therapy, targeting Somali families with kickbacks, $300 to $1,005 per child each month. Provider spike from 41. So in 2018, there were 41 autistic children. And then in 2023, that more than almost 8 times. Okay? Almost 8 times. You now have 328. Many Somalian owned. Overall claim is 3 million. Now you could see that in 2018 to 399 million. That's crazy. That's crazy. There's also this. I learned that there was even some that they didn't even serve food at all. Fraudulent meals claimed during COVID-19 using fake sites and invoices. 250 million. They've charged 70 people, mostly Somali defendants. Wow. I don't know who Azan is. Azan got $426,000. $465,000, sorry. Housing Stability Services. Fake housing aids. Claim through fictitious complaint. Program cost exploded. Wow. 200 million. So this is already going. Yeah. That's almost like in billions, right? Overall welfare claim and Medicaid fraud came 28 plus schemes since 2019, including above plus. Wow, this is massive. This is really massive. Let me just continue playing this.
Understand the system that allowed this to happen in the first place. Because this isn't really a story about immigration policy. It's a story about what happens when oversight fails. When programs designed to help vulnerable people get hijacked by organized networks, and when state leaders either don't notice or choose not to act. Minnesota has become home to the largest Somali population in the entire country. We're talking somewhere between 75 and 85 Zalosan people. That's a sizable community. Many arrived as refugees over.
I'm going to stop this because I got some better perspective and better story around this. Look at this. Food stamp scam is over. Billions in fraud. Wow. And then you also have the Somali panics over Trump. All of this within the last 3 days. Let me look at this food scam. That's the most important one, I think.
It's been made increasingly more difficult. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, is back up and running after the shutdown, but new requirements taking effect next month are changing who can get them and the number of hours they need to work each month to qualify for help. Good evening. I'm Brendan Morano.
And I'm Kelly Finley. The passing of the recent budget bill is implementing new guidelines for those working, those with immigrant status, even veterans. WCIA 3's Tyler Hill is live in our newsroom. Tyler, these changes may catch some off guard. When do they go into effect?
Kelly, it's December 1st. Experts say that's when the clock starts for recipients to submit documentation proving they either work or volunteer at least 80 hours a month. Those participating in certain
necessary, especially considering how we have illegals being deported left and right, and there are a lot of jobs that are coming open. Okay, and American.
Okay, let me see this guy. I want to see what
they have to work, and that's what this story is about.
14th. But here's the other shoe dropping. USDA sent out guidance that pushes a whole lot of people off SNAP immediately.
Wow.
Work requirements just got way tougher. Able-bodied adults under 65, no dependents, you're now having to prove you're working at least 80 hours a month in school or in training. If you can't prove it, you get 3 months of benefits. That's it. Parents with kids under 14 are exempt, but once those kids hit 14, those parents are probably pulled into the work requirement pool too. And then here's the part that's blowing people right now. Groups that were always exempt no longer are. Veterans, people experiencing homelessness, young adults aging out of foster care. They now have to meet the same work rules. The only full exemption still standing is disability. Then we get to the immigration.
Which is fair, right? If you're disabled, right, you should be able to get benefits. But if you're well able, you have all your faculties working, all your functions working well, then except there's an extraordinary reason, you shouldn't just be living on the government. Except there is a plausible reason. Right now in the United States, there are 41 million people that use a SNAP. Okay. Again, there's an argument for and argument against. But the challenge is this. When you have people, okay, getting free stuffs, there's always that incentive, okay, to continually depend on that. And that's it. I want to really get to the fraud case, billions in fraud. This is what I want to see 3 days ago. Okay.
Good evening. Breaking tonight, President Donald Trump posting on Truth Social that he will terminate the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. In his post, he says the reason is, quote, Minnesota, under Governor Walz, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity. I am, as the President of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status, TPS program, for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from. It's over, President DJT, end quote. Now, we have reached out to Governor Tim Walz for a comment, but have not heard back tonight. Somalia's protective status currently runs through March 2026. Now, tonight, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar responding to Trump's post on Twitter, saying, I am a citizen and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh
Okay,
boy.
so
we got to talk about some bombshell news. As President Trump says, he will terminate the temporary protected status program for Somalis in Minnesota. Now, if you guys didn't know, apparently the Somalis in Minnesota, specifically in Minneapolis, they got some power, right? They have influence. Apparently, they were pivotal in deciding the recent mayor election, and you had sides being taken based off of beefs that originate in Somalia, right? You're talking about tribal and gang affiliations.
Let me talk about this. So this is what this guy is trying to say. There was just an election, just concluded election in the United States where you had so many races across the country. There was this guy that was from Somalia, Okay. And he was running against a mayor who happens to be white. This is the challenge. Within the Somali group, there is some beef between different sects. It's quite funny how the war, or the battle, not the war now, the beef between groups from Somalia made its way to the United States. So even though they're together, living together as a bloc, the white guy went to meet the other group, fighting this other candidate who happens to be a Somali, right? And worked with those groups against their own brother because they had certain beefs as Somalians. That's how, interesting, I would say, for the lack of a use of a better word, that's how interesting it is. So they brought in the tribal and sect beef from Somalia now to the United States. And again, one of the major fundamental mistakes that Obama did was that when he brought them in as refugees, he actually put them as a bloc, in Minnesota. So now they decide races. Now they have the power to actually decide one or two things with respect to politics and all that. I'm not saying that's bad in itself, but when you're bringing people in, there's a way of life in the country you're taking them to. It becomes very difficult for them to assimilate. And that's the reality that is facing them now.
Among Somalis, and they voted based off of that.
This is wild. Imagine losing a Somali mayor because of tribalism, qabil. Yeah, Omar Fati called out to his Somali community and said, "Vote for me." The Somali community responded, "What's your qabil?" Omar Fati, educated, qualified, confused, looks to his left and he sees his opponent, Jacob, being welcomed as Somali, given a tribe, Hawiya, and was giving a Somali name. His opponent got clan before vote. Ilhan Omar needed to step in and make a speech. Our community turned a city election into clan competition.
That's what's
crazy. We
crazy.
came here to be one Somali, and now we're divided into tribes in front of America, who don't even know what qabil is. This is embarrassing. The crowd silent. The educated Somalis in the diaspora turning to TikTok and said to the world, "We talk about representation, but we lost because we couldn't represent each other."
Bringing that Africa tribal stuff to the United States. So again, I know you should vote for someone based on competence. To be honest with you, the two guys in that election, the white guy and the Somali guy, I'm not a fan of both of them. Because the white guy is also worse with respect to the way he has handled the city. Okay? But it's just quite interesting that you now see tribalism being played in the United States. Okay.
Yeah, so this totally explains why you saw Jacob Frey, who is the mayor of Minneapolis. He got reelected. He beat Omar Fati, who is a Somali socialist. This totally explains why white liberal man, right, Jacob Frey, Justin Trudeau light, was speaking Somali, dancing like Somalis. Basically, he transformed himself into a Somali because apparently he was taking advantage of the clan infighting, right?
Yeah, politics.
Between the Somalis in order to win. Typical Democrat, nonsensical, cringe.
Typical African stuff too. I must add that. Typical African stuff is always there. It's always there. Okay?
Entering for votes. Take a look.
Assalamu alaikum.
What the hell? What? This is the United States of America. This is the United States. This is crazy.
Hamid wa Aksan. Maaga yega wa Yarub Farid. Doka Magala Minneapolis. Ko Laba Sata. Afarshan. Maaga yega wa Yarub Farid. Doka Magalada, Minneapolis. Mahat Senate. Mahat Senate. For all of your incredible work, Mahat Senate, to the great people of Minneapolis. And I say that very intentionally, because no matter where you are from, Minneapolis should be a place where you are proud to call home. Whether you are from Bosaso or Mogadishu, whether you are from Hargeisa or Galkayo, whether you are from Getaway or Southwest.
So calling various stuffs within Somalia. That's it. That's the politics right now, bro.
Minneapolis is a place where you come to seek prosperity, where you come to raise your family. And here is what this election means.
Okay.
This election means this is a moment for unity, where the entire Somali community can come together and say, this is our people, this is our city, we are united behind each other.
Okay.
Yeah, pandering off the charts, okay? And that leads me to this story that we got to talk about here. Because again, apparently, not only are these people more influential than you would like to see in the United States of America in our elections, there's a lot of fraud going on, okay? And we got to talk about it because I think this is what kind of preempted President Trump saying that he's going to terminate the temporary protected status program for Somalis, saying that they have to go back. So without further ado, let's get into it.
A big announcement from President Trump about Somalis living in Minnesota.
Tonight, the president posted on Truth Social, quote, I am, as president of the United States, hereby terminating, effective immediately, the temporary protected status for Somalis in Minnesota. Somali gangs are terrorizing the people of that great state, and billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from, end quote.
Wow.
Now, we're working to learn the legality of the president's plan and the potential impact.
We know Minnesota has the largest Somali population in the United States, with the last estimate by Minnesota Compass at more than 79,000 people. Callan Gray is working on this in the newsroom, and Callan, reaction is coming in fast tonight.
That's right. Just in the last hour, Governor Walz responding, saying, quote, it is not surprising the president has chosen to broadly target an entire community. This is what he does to change the subject, end quote. Congressmember Ilhan Omar also pushing back, posted on X, quote, I am a citizen and so are majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay. According to National Immigration Forum, as of October, there were 705 people from Somalia in the U.S. with TPS, and we're working to get the total count here in Minnesota. Temporary protected status is meant for those whose home countries are experiencing civil unrest, violence, or natural disasters. Somali immigrants have been eligible since 1991. The Department of Homeland Security says this was most recently extended through March of next year. Homeland Security has the...
What? Since 1991? Wow. I mean, that's a whole lifetime. So they've been just extending and extending it since 1991. So it's either you give them citizenship or, you know, just have a way to, it's more like the IDP camps in Nigeria that has been operating for more than 14 years. It's no more a temporary displaced place. It has become home. That's quite unfortunate.
Discretion to designate a country for TPS for periods of 6 to 18 months and can extend it if the country continues to meet the conditions for designation. I just spoke with Julia Decker with the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota. She explained typically TPS terminations have to be posted on the Federal Register before the date the country's designation is set to expire. I just checked Homeland Security's website in the last few minutes, and Somalia is still listed. Decker also explained this is not done state by state, so the federal government will have to end TPS for all Somali immigrants, not just those here in Minnesota. The Minnesota chapter of the Council on American...
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see what the issue is, right? If they say, nationwide, hey, you know what? It's time to end this, okay? You got to make your country great, right? I'm not sure exactly what the issue is, whether it's at the state level, at the federal level. I'm not seeing what the issue is here, to be honest with you.
Islamic Relations tonight says this will tear families apart, calling it a political attack based on hateful rhetoric and urging the president to reverse the decision. But Republicans are praising the announcement. Republican State House Speaker Lisa Damuth, who is running for governor, shared the president's post saying, quote, President Trump is right. Fraud is out of control and unacceptable. Going on to say anyone involved in these criminal activities should be swiftly deported if they are not lawfully present in the U.S. Republican House Majority Whip Tom Emmer tonight thanked the president. Kevin?
Okay, that's Kellen Gray. Now, Minnesota's Republican delegation in Congress, including Tom Emmer, shared a letter with us that they just sent to U.S. Attorney for Minnesota Daniel Rosen. And in this letter, they're asking for an investigation into Governor Walz's, quote, inaction and improper handling of fraud.
They're also asking for Rosen to look into reports.
So Governor Walz was the guy that ran with... what's it called again? Kamala Harris. Yeah, he ran with Kamala Harris as the vice president for the vice president position last year, and they both lost that election. I mean, his whole campaign was a little bit cringy though, but again, it was fun. That I can say. It was really fun watching, different episodes and different drama. But that's over now. I don't know if he's going to run again in 2028. That's yet to be seen. Right now, I can't even say for sure who the Democrat candidate will be in 2028. But I think the field is open. And as the party goes further left, I just don't know if there would be sane voices that would at least bring them to the center.
Taxpayer dollars are ending up in the hands of the Al-Shabaab terrorist network in Somalia. A source in the
Does that sound familiar? USAID money also has been alleged to have made its way to Boko Haram terrorists and other terrorist stuff, even in Nigeria. So taxpayer monies in the USA finds its way to terrorists in Somalia. Some people need to go to jail.
U.S. Attorney's Office tells us they don't have an exact dollar amount. However, says, quote, Al-Shabaab controls much of Somalia and imposes a tax on all financial activity in the areas it controls.
Also, at this point, I just want to appeal. If you're watching, I would love if you could help subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel to a point where we can have a good community. As things are happening in the world, the 2027 election in Nigeria also is a focal point. I want to grow a community where we can share ideas, chat with each other, and grow. So please help, like, share, and also follow for more updates. Thanks.
So a decent amount of feeding our future and other fraud money almost certainly ended up in the hands of Al-Shabaab indirectly, end quote.
Wow.
Stay with...
Yeah. So you see, now you heard that. Now, we're going to get into the fraud aspect of this story.
Yeah,
because,
wait for it.
As you guys just heard, apparently, our welfare, right, our tax dollars are ending up in the hands of terrorists in Somalia because it's being funneled from the United States of America into Somalia via the Somali community in the United States of America, okay? And, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it because I think this is what preempted President Trump coming out here and saying that he's revoking the temporary protection status.
Leaders say Minnesota is grappling with one of the biggest welfare fraud waves in U.S. history. And now counterterrorism officials warn some of that money very likely ended up in the pockets of al-Shabaab, an al-Qaeda-linked terror group operating out of Somalia. National correspondent Kaylee Gaskins has the details from Washington.
Yeah, only God. And we also have to act, okay? I mean, yeah, it has to be both. It's just unfortunate that the whole terrorism thing is kind of complex right now.
Is the biggest funder of al-Shabaab, the al-Qaeda-linked terror group in Somalia, actually the Minnesota taxpayer? A federal investigator says yes. An alarming claim first reported by City Journal, which spoke with multiple former federal agents. The U.S. Attorney's Office has charged dozens of defendants across multiple schemes, including housing aid fraud, pandemic child nutrition fraud, and false billing for autism therapy. In total, prosecutors say these schemes have cost Minnesota taxpayers billions of dollars.
Still, there are people that have legitimately could use those resources that are not getting those resources. It's past criminal.
Minnesota is home to one of the country's largest Somali communities. Former state fraud investigator Keish Magan, himself a Somali American, wrote last year that it's uncomfortable and true that nearly all defendants in these major fraud cases come from that community.
Wow. Somali himself saying, man, my people are doing a lot of bad stuff. They're stealing a lot of your money, right? It's crazy.
Taking advantage of the most generous country in the world and one of the most generous states in that country.
And according to City Journal, some of the stolen money was sent overseas through informal cash transfer networks. Investigators say once that cash arrived in Somalia, al-Shabaab took a cut, whether the sender intended that or not.
Pretty much across the board, people that I spoke to said there really isn't a law enforcement solution to this problem. As you said, that's simply playing whack-a-mole. People pretty consistently told me that, there needs to be a policy change here.
Critics. Yeah, I mean, the solution is to cut the immigration into the country, right? To say, you know what, you can't come here, right? Because you're coming here, you're living off welfare, and then you're taking the welfare dollars, tax dollars, and you're funneling it back to Somalia, and is ended up in the hands of terrorists, right? That is the actual solution. The solution is what President Trump called for, and yeah, I mean, that's just what the reality is here.
Claim Minnesota leaders have tiptoed around the issue, fearing a backlash from the state's powerful Somali American voting bloc. In Washington.
Yeah, it's all about the voting bloc. It's all about, the person that can determine an election. And that's why it was intentional that they put them all in one location so that you can then give them that block and then politicians can decide and use it as it well pleases. That's the whole thing. That's the whole purpose of just putting a whole set of individuals into a block. Immediately, they get to start making decisions. Because now they can actually elect, their own person. Not until now when we now have, the disagreement or the tribalism within the same set of people. And now the politicians are also now using it to their advantage. It's crazy.
Yeah, they don't want to be called racist, hateful, bigoted, Islamophobic, right? For telling the truth, right? For calling out the fraud, right? And that's the unfortunate reality about politics is that Democrats, they have to bend the knee to the woke mob, right? The woke agenda, which again allows these groups to participate in fraud openly, and nothing is done about it because they don't want to lose votes, right? Democrats want to maintain power and control no matter what, okay? And they will openly allow fraudulent programs in order to avoid voter backlash, because apparently based terror group al-Shabaab, according to a report, the radical Islamic terror group, which is a long-standing ally of al-Qaeda.
Yeah,
that's the reality
again, that's that about that. Yeah, so that's what is happening with the Minnesotan stuff. I had planned to, actually, look at it and also kind of just go through what's really happening there. So it's basically fraud using state resources, okay, to support terrorism back home, and that's really bad. I'm gonna move on. I want to talk about this news One, Asari Dokubo warns Boko Haram to avoid Port Harcourt. Dokubo, once a prominent militant who led the Niger Delta People Volunteer Force in the early 2000s, received a presidential pardon in 2007 and now supports President Tinubu. Speaking passionately in pidgin English from an informal setting, he declares no tolerance for the group, typically active in Nigeria Northeast, reaching the oil south. The message comes amid an unverified report of clashes in River State, with opinions split between those praising his resolve and others calling it reckless amidst ongoing concern. What does he have to say?
If Boko Haram come Port Harcourt, you know, say my business not to kill them. I did some fella they killed them. I did Plateau they killed them. I did Niger they killed them. If they come Port Harcourt, my business not to kill them. This thing I'm telling you is raw. This one is raw. I'm not like those people who do this, that apologetic. I'm a Muslim. If you come fight me, I go kill you. If you come fight me because I be Muslim, I'll kill you. That one. No compromise. But I will not.
Okay, so that's what he's saying. Okay, and that's it. That's what he's saying. I mean, we'll see what happens. Okay. Now, moving forward, let me see. I think this is a bigger video. Let me see this. Yep.
If Boko Haram come Port Harcourt, you know, say my business not to kill them. I'll kill you.
Okay.
Just seen this lunatic. He wants to annex Canada. He wants Iceland.
Okay, so he's talking about Trump. Yeah, he's talking about what Trump wants. Well, anyway, that's it. Moving on. One of the theories that people have been pushing is that part of the reasons why the U.S. is mad at Nigeria is also as a result of the prominent rise of Dangote's refineries and the plan to even almost double, his output. I think the output is 650. Now they're planning to make it 1.4 million barrels per day. But then Dangote is here saying that some of our Nigerian workers are unpatriotic. They are saboteurs who have attempted 22 times to sabotage our refineries. In some instances, they triggered fire, machine manipulation, or other evil attempts. If not for the modern control and monitoring center which the refinery is equipped with. And I was wondering, if they do this to a private refinery, what could they have done to the government-owned ones, where they know that even if they ground the facilities, they will still be drawing salaries and be protected by their unions, even if the government make attempts to checkmate them. Nigerians are the problems of Nigerians. There's that saying that says the people deserves the kind of leaders they get. And this is the reality. How would you, work hard, 22 times to destroy something that you know has been a major source of some good relief, despite the challenges that Nigeria is facing? That is why the NNPC refineries refuse to work. That's why we don't have consistent power. That's why most of our politicians are evil. 22 times just to sabotage and destroy Dangote refinery. Oh, look at this guy. 2 statements are made on this app. A nation gets the leadership it deserves. We don't have a leadership problem. We have a Nigerian problem. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. That was why, when those Spengerson guys wanted to unionize, it was vehemently against it because they could pull that company down. With a wink, just within just a tickle of an eye, they can pull the company down. And that's painful. Yeah, that's it. That's it. They just want to destroy that company. Some of the problems we're facing today, is as a result of the challenges.
Some of us who recruited him into politics.
That Buhari left us with. We brought Buhari to politics to protect Fulani structure in Kwara State, Buba Galadima. I don't know what this is.
Had a mission. And I will reveal that mission today. General Buhari came into politics. It wasn't his province. He never liked politicians because he believed we are fake and that we don't mean what we say. But there was an incident that made some of us to recruit him, convince him, and use the other people to convince him to join politics. And even though we had our own agenda, because in 1999 and 2000, the OPC was on rampage in some parts of the country, especially Southwest, and have inconvenienced a lot of people from this part of the country. And to the extent that they mobilized over 500 vehicles to come and invade Ilorin with the sole aim of uprooting what they called Fulani structures in Ilorin. And we felt that was too much. And Obasanjo was doing nothing. President Obasanjo was doing nothing. President Bola Tinubu, then governor of Lagos, was doing nothing. And some of us felt that those group of people...
I don't understand what he's talking about. How would a governor of Lagos State do something with respect to what is happening in Kwara State? That doesn't make sense.
Were being encouraged by their leaders in position of authority. So how do we stop that? And I called a meeting in Kaduna at Alhaji Bashir Alhatu's house in a place called Unguan Kaji, directly opposite the house of General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. And some of those we invited included Alhaji Wadanas, Professor Yadudu, Bashir Alhatu himself, Alhaji Yahya Sulehama, and a host of others, about 34 of us. And we sat down to reason. How do we save our people from this OPC menace?
But the reason why you had the OPC issue was because this issue of security was becoming unbearable. Once they saw that these guys were coming in, there were a lot of farmers. At that time, it wasn't really this banditry of a thing. It was just between the farmers and the herders, where the herders would go in to retaliate against the farmers. But the reason why the farmers, had issues was because the herders' cow, the herd, would always go in to destroy their plants.
So we said, I suggested that we have to, because you remove government through only two ways: the ballot of through the barrel of the gun, and through the ballot box. And they said it was impossible to challenge General Obasanjo. That was how Buhari came to our mind. And when he was approached, he had a very unkind words for politicians. But since he didn't say he was not doing, we still pursued him. To cut a long story short, we achieved our first purpose of putting a brake to what OPC was doing, because immediately Buhari joined partisan politics, and we had a very big outing in Daura to initiate him into politics. The Obasanjo government became restive and was shaken to it.
Yeah, not plants alone, but outing the crop production, which feeds the people at Kalma Empire. Yeah, I mean, they will say yes. It's quite unfortunate.
It is bone marrow, and because those were some of his our thinking. So Obasanjo had to really checkmate the OPC. So for that reason, we have achieved our first purpose of bringing General Buhari into partisan politics. So the remaining now.
And that was as far back as not 2015. Okay? That was as far back as 2007. Almost 20 years. So you could see the plan. It's, it was already in there that they would, always have their way. Because Buhari later won in 2015. But by the account of what this guy is saying, allegedly, if that is right, that means as far back as 20, even before 2007. That was when they brought this guy that knows nothing about governance, knows nothing about economics, deceived the people in the name of change, and then made the country more miserable than he made it.
It's history. They wanted to dismantle, as what is happening across the country now. They wanted to dismantle his platform of ANPP, APC, ANPP. And we made a counter platform by establishing the Buhari Organization, TBO, which we used as a platform for promoting his political ideals. Of course, all this are now history. Some smart people who are politically ambitious came in and threw us out. That is how we parted ways with him.
In other words, what Galadima revealed simply confirms what many Nigerians had suspected for years. Buhari did not come into politics with the intention of unifying Nigeria or building a nation that works for everyone. According to Galadima,
there's been allegations also that when they were trying to stem out corrupt terrorist groups, that they were just told to stand down. So that's why these guys, they've gotten themselves entrenched in the country and the system at this point. And that's quite unfortunate. That's the problem we face. I just hope that we can get through this and, just get out of all this mess, because it's really it's gone deep. I mean, these people come out and, they go on live stream like it's a legitimate business. And it's that bad. Anyways, let me just see what's happening. Okay, what's this?
Drink. Go to Mana. LP 75. LP. Do you know? Yes. Do you know how people carried that boy and dropped that boy? Do you know this guy came to Lagos and all those, some of his friends that we went out to go and drink? Go to Mana. None of them allowed that young man to sleep in his house. What can I bet you? Look at the no daughter. But Adam small.
So, I mean, he's just talking about there was this sensation that happened during the election where, there was a guy that was kind of, hyping Peter Obi's votes, and people didn't follow him. It's fine. Igbo man sparks debate as he wants people not to marry Igbo's partners from the southeast. Why? What does he have to say?
If you want to marry an Igbo man, marry an Igbo man that was raised outside Igbo land.
What? Why? Why that? I don't know. I mean, what's it talking about? Let's see.
If you're a single girl and you want to pray to marry an Igbo man, pray, may God give you an Igbo man that was born and raised outside Igbo land.
Why?
The mentality, they different, especially the one that born in the north. Any Igbo man born and raised in the north is one of the best Igbo man you could ever dream to marry.
Why?
And the ones then born and raised in southwest, still they okay. Past the ones we born and raised in Igbo land. Any Igbo man born and raised in southeast, 85% of them no be husband material.
Why? This is an Igbo person speaking, and we shall not get into tribal dispute. As much as I want to watch it, I've got to move on. Let's watch it.
They always did too authoritative. In fact, they hardly respect their woman. They hardly respect their wife. And any small thing, they go beat you waiting no good. Wow. You understand? Their mindset be say anything where they talk, now stand. They don't have regard for you as the wife. Your opinion no matter, and they are very hardened.
Let me look at what people are saying. It's like this one was born and raised in the north. Yeah, we just want Biafra. We will still live in Yoruba land, but we must have our own country for our safety in case we are chased out of your land. We can go home and report. Wow. Not be everything be content. You go just open your mouth. Exactly. So character now by region. Unquote there. Let me move on. I'm not going to get myself involved in this. These are the released Kebbi school students. They were released today. Yeah, that's it. Nnamdi Kanu has put the entire East in disarray for doing the wrong thing. There's tyranny, there's treason. Are we going to advocate for a tyrant, putting everybody's life at the East into problem, and you want us to stand behind violence? Lady from from the East says she disapproves of Nnamdi's movement. Let me see what she says.
From the men at the top who are able to come speak about Nnamdi Kanu's issue or involve themselves.
Maybe they're not loud enough.
I laugh. The Igbo people we are one of the smartest people. We are not just book smart.
Let me see. Oh, God have mercy. May have a point. Marrying an Igbo raised in Igbo soil. Wow. Okay.
We are street smart and we are business smart. Okay? You're telling someone to come and support a movement or talk about a movement that he initially is not wanting to be part of. The Biafran movement is not something that all Igbos are in support of. So stop trying. I need people to stop trying to mash us into one. There is a divide already on this movement. Before IPOB, there was MASOB. How did MASOB run their agenda so peacefully? But when it was time for the IPOB, we are having chaos. The East is not what it's used to be. We can't travel anymore.
Yeah, I remember then when I was working in Lagos, one of the best thing I do for myself, I don't go on vacation in December. I just take the normal holidays because you drive to your office. There was free flow of traffic, no traffic at all. Because the Igbos, would have walked throughout the years, which was a good thing, and then they go home to celebrate. The whole thing was that we know that once it's getting to December, they will always go home to celebrate. And one of the reasons why Dirty December has gained so much notoriety, has gained so much popularity is because instead of the Igbos now going home, they now stay in Lagos. So now add those people coming from London, from US, from all over the world, instead of them going to the eastern part, Abuja, northern part and all that. I mean, not people don't really go travel outside of the country for the most part. And their own holiday is more of Ilea, not Christmas. But I'm talking about the December Christmas festive stuff. So instead of a lot of all these people coming from London, and even those in Lagos also going back to the east, because of insecurity, now they choose to remain in Lagos. So now you've got so much traffic of monies of people coming into Lagos in December, and that's why you have this dirty December, because dirty December wasn't a thing in those days, because people go to their different, state of origin or different homes to just celebrate. Again, the agitation for self-determination is not a bad thing in itself. But when you want to liberate people, and the people you're trying to liberate, are now being killed in the name of liberation, when the country, assuming you're giving the country, number one, you've already set the foundation for chaos. And that's where I don't mind if you want to get your stuff, you can lobby, at least with sub-Brexit happen. But the first point of call is your politicians, your leaders. Now, you may not like them, but that's what it is. They can lobby the nation if that will be accepted. But again, the point of view from those that support the Biafra movement and all that is that, well, you can see that the whole thing is a mess. The constitution is kind of fraudulent, in court. And that's where it becomes a little bit complicated.
The UGMs are in play. The ESN are in play. My state is in shambles because I am from the same state as he is. You can't come out on Mondays anymore. You move, you get killed. Why is nobody saying anything about that? We are more worried about one man who put the whole of the East in disarray for doing the wrong thing. There's tyranny, there's treason. Are we going to advocate for a tyrant? You want a cessation, you do not go about it the legal way, and you put everybody's lives from the East into problems, and then you want us to stand behind violence? Has any of you taken the time to listen to Nnamdi's radio channel for 1 hour and hear the amount of hate? The hate! I don't speak on this because it pains me to my blood. I know what we are facing. The Civil War is still a mark. My father was one of them, and he will tell you, anything you do in life, do not advocate for a war. The general who started it, God rest his soul, he came out to say he regretted his actions. He wasn't even here when the chips were down. And you think Kanu will be here when he sets? What are we kidding ourselves? What are we saying?
Well, I don't know what to say, bro. So there are two schools of thought. Yeah, I can say someone says she can actually, if she doesn't want to be part of Biafra, she should get lost. I wouldn't say that there are no legitimate agitations, okay? But I just don't want the eastern side of this country, the southeast, to be on fire. Because they are also it's not like, the atrocity is against another nation. Hi, welcome to the show. It's just that it's also the Easterners that are suffering. And there's also, I wouldn't lie, I wouldn't say, you could say that, some of these things are IPOB and, ESN. How do you know? There might also be some other groups that have infiltrated that group. There could be some other terrorists that have infiltrated the group and creating pockets of attack too. So again, at this point in time, it becomes a little bit, interesting to see how all these things interplay together.
We are not, there are a lot of us not in support of the movement, and that's facts. And you cannot force it upon anybody, whether as a leader, as a statesman, or whoever hierarchy. If I'm not in support, I'm not in support. You can't use my political ambition or my political stance to hold it against me that I'm not speaking up. Igbo people are smart. We choose our battles wisely. And for this battle of Nnamdi Kanu, we are choosing to stay silent. And the people who have chosen to stay silent should not be bullied for their choice.
Thank you. Yeah, but again, who is bullying who? I think it's not again, I think that, you see, for there to be, an achievement, and also there are other things that could be achieved, even as a bloc, there needs to be some good level of collaboration amongst those in the Southeast. Okay, speaking with the same voice, the leaders. Again, I don't know if there's a trust between the people and the leaders. It makes it quite difficult.
Thank you.
But again, yeah, that's a point of view. This is the funnest video you will see on the internet today. I'm not the bad boy. Oh, they did this for article? Okay.
I am not the bad day boy, but I am here to celebrate with our daddy.
I'm not the birthday boy. I'm just the birthday boy's first son.
Oh, this article's first son. Wow. Wow, you can see the money of Nigeria really radiating on his.
I'm not the birthday boy, but I'm the birthday boy's son.
What's your position?
I am not the birthday boy, but I'm the birthday man staff.
The birthday boy, but I'm the physician to the birthday boy.
Oh, that's a doctor. Okay.
I'm not the birthday boy. I am the principal secretary to the birthday.
So they are thinking that if they are calling a 79-year-old man a birthday boy, that would make him fit for presidency. The guy is freaking going to be 81 by the time he gets into Aso Rock. If he wins the election, I don't know if the election is tilted towards him, his side, but again, the guy is going to be 81 and is contesting. Oh, that's crazy, boy. So you can call him birthday boy. We know he's not a boy. He's a 79-year-old man who has refused to retire from politics. It's within his rights, understand, to go for presidency. I'm just saying, he's not a boy.
I'm not the birthday boy, but I'm the birthday boy's mentee.
I'm not the birthday boy, but I'm the birthday boy's mentee. I'm not the birthday boy, I'm the birthday boy's son.
Not the birthday boy, but I'm the birthday boy's staff and son and grandson.
Wow. Oh, thank God he called himself a man there, right? Okay. Yeah, that's, we'll see what happens there. Yeah, okay. You go to church to pray for money, yet you still have to pay offering while you're still very poor. And after all the praying and giving, nothing changes. My church collects 7 different openings. Pella tells Toby, wow, he said that in front of Toby.
You go to church to pray for money. The 1,000 naira he carry to the church, he still pay offering inside. A poor woman, a poor lady, a poor guy, a poor everything. He's still going to gates. Nothing changed.
Wow.
That is it. There are some people who don't need to collect. Our own church, we pay 7 offering, different offering. On the same day? Yes, now. And the same time. The same time? Yes. This is like a pan. Yeah. As they finish this one like this, they change the pan, put a new one, take that one away. They are fasting that. Don't worry. They are fasting. It's not nothing for them.
Oh, that's just yeah, that's it. So, okay. Old bandit attack. Video of a brave vigilante that confronted Fulani bandit with their AK-47. Nobody kidnapping Isapa. A media house reporting the abduction of some resident of Isapa community Ekiti LG of Kwara State following the attacks by bandits. Yesterday, they didn't get their fact correctly. No residents was abducted during the incidents. These guys are everywhere. These guys are everywhere. As they fled through Eruku, the fleeing bandits encountered some Hausa individuals and a woman. whom they abducted in an attempt to claim false sense of victory. Journalists or media organizations should always do their due diligence. I don't know if this is correct. Let me see if this is true. This was 10 hours ago. Another attack followed. Wow.
I fell from that one.
Sorry for that language. This post counters mainstream media report of 10 to 11 abduction in Isapa, Kwara State on November 24, 2025, asserting no locals were kidnapped there due to vigilantes' resistance. Now, people are actually trying to defend themselves. Wow. So you now have vigilante. Thanks for the follow, Prince Royal. Again, it's quite unfortunate. Video depicts a vigilante in colorful attire demonstrating confrontation aligning with social media account of repelled attacks led by bandits at Doalero. Though police confirm abductions occur nearby in Eruku involving Hausa individuals and a woman. But these people also still eventually kidnap 2 people. Wow. This is crazy. It's crazy. Igbo people contribute 40% of Lagos IGL. Are we still on this Igbo debate? I'm gonna move on. What? Niger State Governor tells Protocol Director, you lack sense, you are very stupid during meeting. What? Wow. You are hiding in a foreign country and instigating violence in Nigeria.
We have prayed for too long. Let's stop praying and let's go to the streets. And you are typing from London. If it's sure for you, come Nigeria. Where aggression fail, wisdom gains. Let's go to the streets. You are typing from Canada. Come Nigeria. And let's go to the streets. And you are typing from London. Come Nigeria.
Okay, that's Simon Ekpa, I guess. Yeah. Oh, this is gonna be a very old video. I'm gonna skip. Yeah. Okay, so this is Guy. I mean, he's been saying a lot of stuff. I support Trump deporting many Somalis people as they can legally go back to Africa. Nigerians hate everyone. So this one is saying Nigeria hates everyone. Let me see. Let me see. This guy's okay. Let me see.
So the U.S. President Donald Trump has come out and said he's going to remove the temporary protected status that Somalis have in Minnesota, so that he can start deporting them. And I just want to say I absolutely support this as a Nigerian. I need him to remove that status and deport as many Somalis as possible.
Okay.
There you have it. It says Trump says he is ending temporary deportation protection for Somalis in Minnesota. And I said, as a Nigerian, I support this. Let me explain why. After seeing what y'all did to your own brother in favor of Jacob Frey, you serve no purpose to your own.
Okay, so he's bringing tribalism also into this, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with what they did, but at the same time, I also don't agree with this whole story of, oh, what they did to your brother thing. Elections should be based on who can perform better for the people. Now, Jacob Frey, like I earlier said, I'm not a fan. I don't even think between the two of them, I don't know which one is which.
People, to all black peoples, you need to get the fuck out of America. You are a net negative.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. How far you just need to understand what you're seeing online before people turn your word into cruise. Okay. Yeah. She saw on her daughter live that Mrs. DS said a lot of men lead with sexual advances. Someone check on that little girl. She didn't say that. Okay, let's see. This is the first negative review I will see about Olamide's concert in London. Okay, London people are enjoying it. Okay, so let me just move on. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining. Yeah. Thanks for the follow, thanks for the like, thanks for the comment. I really appreciate you joining the stream. If you've not joined, if you've not followed, please, I would love if you could subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll call it a day on this point and talk to you guys later today, or talk to you guys tomorrow, depending on where you are. Thanks for watching.